unexpected arrival. The deafening roar of failing engines filled Commander Zara Chen's ears as her scout ship plummeted through the atmosphere of an uncharted planet. Warning lights flashed across her console, bathing the cramped cockpit in an eerie red glow. Gritting her teeth, Zara fought to maintain control of the rapidly descending craft. "Come on, you piece of junk," she muttered, her hands flying over the controls. "Just a little longer." The ship bucked violently, throwing Zara against her restraints. Through the viewscreen, she caught glimpses of an alien landscape rushing up to meet her, vast purple plains interspersed with towering crystalline structures that glittered in the light of a distant binary star system. With a bone-jarring impact, the scout ship slammed into the planet's surface. Zara's head snapped forward, then back against her seat. As darkness crept in at the edges of her vision, her last coherent thought was a wry observation that this definitely wasn't how she'd planned to make first contact. When Zara regained consciousness, the first thing she noticed was the acrid smell of smoke and burned circuitry. Groaning, she forced her eyes open, blinking away the haze. The cockpit was a mess of sparking wires and cracked displays, but miraculously, she seemed to be mostly intact, sore and bruised, but nothing felt broken. "Small favors," she muttered, unclipping her harness with shaky hands. Zara took stock of her situation. The ship was a total loss, that much was clear. Her emergency beacon was active, but who knew how long it would take for a rescue team to reach her out here in uncharted space? She'd have to rely on her survival training and hope the planet's environment wasn't immediately lethal. With effort, Zara pried open the twisted hatch of her ship and took her first breath of alien air. It was thin, but breathable, with a faintly sweet scent she couldn't quite place. As her eyes adjusted to the purple-tinged light, she got her first real look at the world she'd crashed into. The landscape was unlike anything she'd ever seen. The ground beneath her feet was covered in a dense, moss-like growth that shifted from deep violet to brilliant magenta. In the distance, crystal spires rose hundreds of meters into the sky, their faceted surfaces refracting the starlight into dazzling prismatic displays. But it was the plant life that truly captured Zara's attention. Everywhere she looked, strange flora dotted the landscape. There were bulbous, pulsating pods that seemed to breathe, delicate fern-like structures that swayed without any apparent breeze, and twisting vines that appeared to be slowly writhing across the ground. "Well," Zara said to herself, a hint of wonder creeping into her voice despite her predicament, "I wanted to discover new worlds. Looks like I got my wish." She retrieved her emergency pack from the wreckage, grateful for the supplies it contained: water purification tablets, nutrient bars, a portable shelter, and most importantly, her handheld scanner. The device will allow her to analyze her surroundings and hopefully identify any immediate threats. As Zara began to survey the area around her crash site, a flicker of movement caught her eye. She froze, hand instinctively moving to the stunner at her hip. There, partially obscured by a cluster of luminescent fronds, was something. The creature, if that's what it was, seemed to be observing her. It was roughly humanoid in shape, but its proportions were off. Limbs too long and sinuous, head slightly too large. Its skin, or perhaps some kind of exoskeleton, shimmered with an iridescent quality that made it difficult for Zara to focus on any one part of its body. Zara's heart raced. First contact. This is what she'd trained for, dreamed of. But all her carefully prepared protocols seemed to evaporate in the face of the reality before her. She raised her hands slowly, palms out in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," she said, voice steady despite her nerves. "I come in peace. My name is Zara, Zara Chen." The creature tilted its head, regarding her with what seemed to be curiosity. Then, to Zara's astonishment, it began to change. Its form rippled and shifted, the iridescent surface flowing like liquid metal. In a matter of seconds, the alien had reshaped itself into a mirror image of Zara herself. Zara stumbled back, shock overriding her training. "What the?" The doppelganger opened its mouth, and when it spoke, it was with Zora's own voice. "Hello, I come in peace. My name is Zora, Zora Chen." A perfect mimicry, down to the slight tremor of nervousness in her tone. Zora's mind raced. Was this some kind of defense mechanism? A form of communication? Or something far more sinister? Before she could formulate a response, more movement caught her attention. All around her, more of the shape-shifting creatures were emerging from hiding. Dozens of them, perhaps hundreds, all taking on her appearance. Zora swallowed hard, fighting down a wave of panic. She was surrounded, outnumbered, on an alien world with no backup and no way off the planet. But as she looked into the eyes of her many reflections, she saw not hostility, but an intense, almost childlike curiosity. Taking a deep breath, Zora squared her shoulders. She hadn't come all this way to cower in fear at the first sign of the unknown. She was a representative of humanity, an explorer and a diplomat. Whatever these creatures were, whatever their intentions, she would face them with courage and an open mind. "Okay," she said, addressing the group at large. "Let's try this again. I am Zora Chen, a human from the planet Earth. I'm an explorer, here to learn and to share knowledge. I don't know who or what you are, but I'm hoping we can find a way to communicate." The sea of Zora-shaped aliens rippled, as if a wave of excitement had passed through them. Then, as one, they began to change again. This time, instead of mimicking her appearance, they seemed to be trying to convey something. Their bodies morphed into abstract shapes and patterns, pulsing with color and light. Zora watched in fascination, her scientific mind already working to decipher the meaning behind the displays. It was clear that these beings communicated in ways far removed from human norms. But in their attempts to interact with her, she saw not just intelligence, but a genuine desire to connect. As the alien light show continued, Zora felt a smile tugging at her lips. She crashed on an unknown world, her ship was destroyed, and she was faced with creatures beyond her wildest imagination. By all rights, she should be terrified. But instead, she felt a familiar thrill coursing through her veins, the excitement of discovery, the joy of the unknown. This, she realized, was why she'd become an explorer in the first place. Not for glory or riches, but for moments like this, standing on the precipice of a new frontier, ready to take that first step into a larger universe. With renewed determination, Zora began to study the patterns displayed by the aliens, looking for repetitions or consistent elements that might form the basis of a rudimentary language. She pulled out her scanner, recording everything for later analysis. As she worked, the sun began to set, painting the alien sky in breathtaking hues of orange and purple. The crystal spires caught the fading light, sending rainbows dancing across the landscape. It was beautiful, in an utterly alien way, and Zora found herself pausing in her work to simply take in the view. One of the creatures, still wearing her form, approached cautiously. It reached out a hand, mirroring Zora's earlier gesture of peace. Slowly, carefully, Zora extended her own hand. Their fingers touched, and Zora gasped at the sensation. It was like plunging her hand into cool water, but there was also a faint electric tingle, almost like a mild static shock. The creature's form rippled at the contact, and suddenly Zora felt something. Not quite thoughts or emotions, but impressions. Flashes of color and sensation that she somehow knew weren't her own. Was this how they communicated? Some form of touch-based telepathy? As the alien pulled its hand away, Zora felt a sense of loss, as if a connection had been severed. But in its place was a growing excitement. She'd made contact. Real, meaningful contact with an alien species. Whatever happened next, she knew her life, and potentially the course of human history, had been irrevocably changed. As night fell on the alien world, Zora set up her emergency shelter, her mind buzzing with questions and possibilities. The shapeshifters kept their distance, but she could sense their continued presence, watching her with what she now recognized as intense curiosity. Zora checked her emergency beacon one last time before settling in for the night. It was still transmitting, a steady pulse reaching out into the vastness of space. Help would come eventually, she knew. But for now, she was on her own, the sole human on a world of mysteries. As she drifted off to sleep, Zara's last thoughts were of the challenges and wonders that awaited her. She crashed here by accident, but now she had a chance to be a true pioneer, to forge a connection between humanity and this incredible alien civilization. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries. But for tonight, under an alien sky filled with unfamiliar stars, Commander Zara Chen allowed herself a moment of pure, unbridled excitement for the adventure that lay ahead. The hive mind enigma. As the alien sun crept over the horizon, bathing the crystalline landscape in a shimmering violet glow, Zara Chen stirred from her uneasy slumber. The events of the previous day came rushing back, and for a moment she wondered if it had all been a dream. But as she unzipped her emergency shelter and poked her head out, the reality of her situation hit her full force. Hundreds of eyes, her own eyes, stared back at her. The shapeshifters had maintained their Zara-like forms throughout the night, creating a sea of doppelgangers that stretched as far as she could see. It was unsettling, to say the least, but Zara steeled herself. She was humanity's accidental ambassador, and she was determined to make the most of this extraordinary situation. "Good morning," she called out, trying to inject confidence into her voice. "I hope we can continue our conversation from yesterday." The reaction was immediate and unexpected. As one, the shapeshifters began to morph and flow, their bodies merging together like drops of quicksilver. Zara watched in awe as they coalesced into a single massive entity, a towering, iridescent figure that loomed over her, its features constantly shifting and reforming. Holy quantum entanglement, Zara breathed, her scientific mind racing to comprehend what she was seeing. A hive mind, or some kind of collective consciousness. The giant figure raised a hand, and Zara felt a familiar tingling sensation wash over her. But this time, instead of vague impressions, she was hit with a torrent of information, images, sounds, and sensations that threatened to overwhelm her senses. Gritting her teeth, Zara forced herself to focus, to try and make sense of the alien data flooding her mind. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. She saw glimpses of the shapeshifters' history, their evolution from simple, amoeba-like organisms to the complex, collective intelligence they were now. She felt their curiosity about her, their excitement at encountering a new form of life. And she understood their name for themselves, the Cinch. As the connection faded, Zara staggered, her head spinning from the intensity of the experience. The giant figure of the collective Cinch dissolved, reforming into individual shapes once more. But now, instead of mimicking Zara, they took on a variety of forms, some humanoid, others completely alien. "Okay," Zara said, taking a deep breath to center herself. "That was intense, but I think I'm starting to understand. You're a collective species, aren't you? Individually shapeshifters, but together forming a single shared consciousness." The Cinch nearest to her morphed its features into an approximation of a human smile, a gesture that was both reassuring and slightly unnerving. Zara's scientific curiosity kicked into overdrive. "The implications of this are staggering," she mused aloud. "Your ability to share information, to problem solve as a collective, it must give you incredible advantages." She paused, a troubling thought occurring to her. "But what about individuality? Do you have personal identities, or is everything shared across the collective?" In response, several of the Cinch began to change, taking on distinct forms that Zara realized must represent individual personalities or roles within their society. One shaped itself into a form reminiscent of Earth's ancient trees, its body gnarled and wise-looking. Another took on a more fluid, dynamic shape that seemed to embody motion and change. "Fascinating," Zara murmured. "So you maintain individual identities within the collective. But how do you balance that with your shared consciousness?" As if in answer, the Cinch began to dance, or at least, That was the closest analogy Zara's human mind could comprehend. They flowed and shifted, merging and separating in intricate patterns that seemed to represent the ebb and flow of information and identity within their collective. Zara watched, mesmerized, as the dance grew more complex. She began to see how the sync could be both one and many, how their shared consciousness allowed for a level of cooperation and understanding that was almost beyond human comprehension. But as she observed, she also noticed something else: a subtle undercurrent of tension in the movements, a discord in the otherwise harmonious flow. Zara's brow furrowed. Was there some kind of conflict within the Sync society? Before she could ponder this further, her attention was drawn to a commotion at the edge of the gathered Sync. A new group was approaching, their forms pulsing with what Zara interpreted as urgency. The newcomers merged with the main group, and suddenly the air was thick with tension. Zara felt a prickle of unease as the Sync around her began to shift and roil, their forms becoming more agitated. "What's going on?" she asked, but as she knew they couldn't answer in words. Instead, one of the Sync reached out, offering its hand. Zara hesitated for only a moment before taking it, bracing herself for another flood of alien information. This time, the impressions were clearer, more focused. Zara saw images of the crystal spires that dotted the landscape, but they weren't just natural formations as she'd initially thought. They were technology, ancient and incredibly advanced, and they were failing. Zara gasped as she understood the gravity of the situation. The crystal spires were some kind of planetary defense system, protecting the Sync's world from something terrible that lurked in the depths of space, waiting for a chance to invade. As the connection faded, Zara looked up at the towering crystals with new eyes. "Your world is in danger," she said softly, "and you need help." The Sync around her rippled in affirmation, their forms conveying a mixture of fear and hope. Zara felt the weight of their expectations settle on her shoulders. She was just one human, stranded on an alien world. What could she possibly do to help? But as she looked at the faces of the Sync, faces that had taken on aspects of her own in an attempt to connect with her, Zara felt a surge of determination. She was a representative of humanity, with all the ingenuity and resourcefulness that entailed. And she had a responsibility, not just to her own species, but to these beings who had welcomed her and shared their secrets. "All right," Zara said, squaring her shoulders. "I may not understand your technology, but I'm a problem solver. That's what humans do best. So let's figure this out together." The Sync around her pulsed with what she now recognized as approval and relief. As they began to lead her towards the nearest crystal spire, Zara's mind was already racing, considering and discarding ideas. She didn't know if she could save this world, but she was damn well going to try. And in doing so, she might just forge an alliance that would change the course of history for both their species. As they approached the base of the massive crystal structure, Zara felt a mix of awe and trepidation. The spire towered above them, its faceted surface catching the alien sunlight and refracting it into dazzling patterns. But now that she knew its true purpose, she could see the signs of decay, hairline fractures running through the crystal, pulsing with unstable energy. "Okay," Zara muttered to herself, pulling out her scanner. "Let's see what we're dealing with here." As she began to analyze the crystal's structure, the Sync around her shifted and flowed, taking on forms that seemed designed to assist her. Some transformed into living sensors, their bodies attuned to the crystal's frequencies. Others shaped themselves into tools, offering Zara appendages and interfaces she could only dream of. Working together, human and alien, they delved into the mysteries of the ancient defense system. Zara's mind raced as she pieced together the incredible complexity of the technology. It was like nothing she'd ever encountered, a blend of crystalline computing, quantum entanglement, and energies she couldn't even begin to classify. But as she worked, a troubling pattern began to emerge. The system wasn't just failing, it was evolving, changing in ways its original creators had never intended. "It's like it's developed its own form of intelligence," Zara mused, her voice filled with equal parts wonder and concern. But it's conflicting with its original purpose. That's what's causing the instability. The cinch around her pulsed with alarm, clearly understanding the implications. If the defense system collapsed entirely, their world would be left vulnerable to whatever cosmic horror lurked beyond. Zara's mind raced, considering options. Could they reset the system somehow? No, that might erase the evolved intelligence, and who knew what unintended consequences that might have. Perhaps they could find a way to communicate with it, to align its newfound awareness with its original purpose. As she pondered, Zara noticed something strange. The cinch nearest to her, the one she'd come to think of as a sort of leader, was behaving oddly. Its form was fluctuating rapidly, as if struggling to maintain cohesion. "Are you all right?" Zara asked, reaching out instinctively. The moment her hand made contact, she was hit with a wave of alien emotions so intense it nearly knocked her off her feet. Fear, confusion, and a desperate longing for something the cinch couldn't quite articulate. And in that moment of connection, Zara had an epiphany. The evolved intelligence of the crystal system, the collective consciousness of the cinch, they were two sides of the same coin. Both seeking unity, both struggling with a balance between individual and collective identity. "That's it," Zara exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "The solution isn't to fix the crystal system, it's to merge it with your collective consciousness." The cinch around her rippled with a mixture of shock and dawning understanding. Zara's mind raced as she explained her theory, her hands moving animatedly. "Your species and this technology, you've been evolving in parallel all this time. But you're meant to work together, don't you see? The crystal system needs the stability and purpose your collective mind can provide. And you need the expanded awareness and capabilities the system can offer." The cinch pulsed with excitement, their forms shifting rapidly as they communicated Zara's idea throughout their collective. But there was hesitation too, fear of the unknown, of such a monumental change. Zara understood their trepidation. What she was proposing would irrevocably alter their entire civilization. But she also saw the potential for growth, for understanding, for a level of existence beyond anything either she or the cinch had imagined. "I know it's scary," she said softly. "Believe me, I understand. But sometimes the greatest discoveries, the most amazing transformations, come from taking that leap into the unknown. That's what exploration is all about." As she spoke, Zara felt a shift in the air around them. The crystal spire began to pulse with a new energy, resonating with the collective consciousness of the cinch. It was as if the very planet was holding its breath, waiting for a decision that would shape the future of this entire world. Zara looked at the cinch, at the alien beings who had welcomed her and shared their secrets. And in their ever-shifting forms, she saw reflected the very spirit of humanity, the drive to explore, to evolve, to become more than what they were. "What do you say?" she asked, her voice filled with hope and determination. "Are you ready to take that leap?" The cinch's response was beyond words. As one, they began to flow towards the crystal spire, their forms merging and expanding. Zara watched in awe as they enveloped the massive structure, their iridescent bodies melding with the crystalline lattice. Energy crackled through the air, and Zara's hair stood on end. The ground beneath her feet trembled, and for a moment she feared she had made a terrible mistake. But then, like a wave cresting and breaking, the energy stabilized. The crystal spire blazed with new life, its facets shimmering with colors Zara had no names for. And within its structure she could see the flowing, ever-changing forms of the cinch, now one with the ancient technology. As the transformation completed, a sense of profound peace settled over the landscape. Zara felt it in her bones, a rightness, as if two halves of a whole had finally come together. Slowly, a portion of the crystal separated itself, flowing down to take on a humanoid shape before her. But this was no mere mimicry. The being that stood before Zara was something new, a perfect synthesis of cinch and crystal, of organic life and advanced technology. When it spoke, its voice resonated not just in Zara's ears, but in her mind and heart as well. "Thank you, Zara Chen of Earth," it said, its form shimmering with gratitude and joy. "You have given us more than just salvation. You have given us transcendence." Zara's eyes filled with tears of wonder and relief. "I'm glad I could help," she said softly. "But what happens now? What does this mean for your people, for your world?" The crystalline being's form rippled with what Zara interpreted as a smile. "Now, Zara Chen, we explore. Together, we will unlock the secrets of the universe. And perhaps in time, we can help your people achieve a similar transcendence." As the implications of those words sank in, Zara felt a thrill of excitement course through her. She had come to this world by accident, a lone human stranded on an alien shore. But in doing so, she had opened the door to a future beyond her wildest dreams. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. Cosmic convergence. As the newly transformed cinch crystal beings shimmered before her, Zara Chen felt the weight of history settling upon her shoulders. She had come to this alien world as an accidental explorer, but now found herself at the center of a cosmic revolution. The implications were staggering, and she knew that whatever happened next would ripple across the galaxy. "Okay," Zara said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "We've achieved something incredible here, but I have a feeling our challenges are just beginning." The crystalline entity that had addressed her earlier, the one she had come to think of as the Sync Prime, pulsed with agreement. Its voice, when it spoke, resonated on multiple levels of perception. "Indeed, Zara of Earth, the merging of our consciousness with the ancient defense system has opened our awareness to threats we never imagined. The cosmos is vast and filled with wonders and terrors." As if on cue, the sky above them shimmered and distorted. Zara gasped as a massive holographic display materialized, showing a real-time map of the surrounding star systems. But it wasn't the technological marvel that made her breath catch in her throat. It was what the map revealed. Vast swarms of something were moving through space, consuming everything in their path. Stars winked out of existence, replaced by roiling masses of darkness that defied description. The void swarm, the Sync Prime intoned, its crystalline form vibrating with tension. An entity beyond our comprehension, driven by an insatiable hunger for energy and matter. Our ancient defense system was created to keep them at bay, but now they're on the move, Zara finished, her mind racing. "And they're headed this way, aren't they?" The holographic display zoomed in, showing the void swarm's trajectory. Zara's heart sank as she realized the truth. The monstrous entity was indeed on a direct course for the Cinch homeworld. "How long do we have?" she asked, already calculating potential strategies in her head. "At their current speed, approximately 72 Earth hours," the Sync Prime replied. Zara's eyes widened. 3 days. That's not much time to prepare for an invasion by a cosmic horror. But even as the words left her mouth, Zara felt a familiar surge of determination. She hadn't come this far, hadn't helped the Sync achieve their incredible transformation, just to watch their world be consumed by some spacefaring apocalypse. "All right," she said, squaring her shoulders. "We need a plan. You've got this incredible new melding of organic and crystal tech. There has to be a way we can use that to our advantage." The Sync Prime's form rippled with approval. "Your species' capacity for innovative thinking continues to impress us, Zara Chen. Perhaps together, we can find a solution that neither of us could conceive alone." Over the next few hours, Zara and the Cinch crystal beings engaged in a brainstorming session unlike any in human history. Ideas flowed freely, with the Sync's collective consciousness able to simulate and discard thousands of potential strategies in the blink of an eye. Zara found herself pushing the limits of her scientific knowledge, combining her human intuition with the Sync's vast database of cosmic phenomena. Together, they explored concepts that made her head spin: quantum entanglement on a planetary scale, manipulation of dark energy, even the possibility of folding spacetime itself. As they worked, Zara couldn't help but marvel at the seamless collaboration between human and alien minds. It was as if the very act of working together was forging a new kind of synergy, one that transcended the boundaries of species and consciousness. Finally, after what felt like both an eternity and no time at all, a plan began to take shape. It was audacious, potentially catastrophic if it went wrong, but also their best hope for survival. "Let me get this straight," Zara said, pacing back and forth as she processed the idea. "We're going to use the crystal spires to create a planet-wide quantum field, linking every particle in this world into a single coherent state." The Sync Prime pulsed in affirmation. "Correct. And then, using the amplified power of our collective consciousness, we will project that quantum field outward, encompassing the void swarm itself." Zara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. "And because the swarm will be quantumly entangled with your planet, you'll be able to, what? Communicate with it, control it." "In a sense," the Sync Prime replied. "We believe we can use the entanglement to introduce a new pattern into the swarm's collective behavior. Instead of consuming, we will attempt to redirect its fundamental drive towards creation and symbiosis." Zara let out a low whistle. "We're talking about reprogramming a cosmic entity on a fundamental level. The ethical implications alone are staggering." The crystalline being shimmered, its form conveying a mixture of determination and solemnity. "We understand the gravity of what we propose, but faced with annihilation, we must act. And perhaps in saving ourselves, we may also offer the void swarm a chance at a new form of existence." Zara nodded slowly, feeling the weight of the decision settling upon her. This wasn't just about saving one planet or one species anymore. The outcome of their plan could reshape the very nature of life in the cosmos. "All right," she said finally, "I'm in, but we're going to need every ounce of power and focus we can muster. How can I help?" The Sync Prime's form shifted, extending a crystalline tendril towards her. "To maximize our chances of success, we believe it would be beneficial for you to temporarily join our collective consciousness. Your unique human perspective could be the key to making this work." Zara's eyes widened. You mean, become one of you? Is that even possible?" "With our new integration of organic and crystal technology, yes. But it would be temporary, and not without risk. The strain on your human mind could be significant." Zara took a deep breath, considering the offer. It was dangerous, potentially even fatal, but the fate of an entire world, perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. And as she was honest with herself, the scientist in her was thrilled at the prospect of experiencing such a profound melding of consciousnesses. "Well," she said with a wry smile, "I did always wonder what it would be like to be part of a hive mind. Let's do it." The process of integrating Zara into the Cinch Crystal Collective was unlike anything she could have imagined. As the crystalline structure enveloped her, she felt her consciousness expanding, merging with the vast network of minds that made up the Cinch. It was overwhelming at first, a cacophony of thoughts, memories, and perceptions that threatened to drown out her sense of self. But slowly, guided by the gentle presence of the Sync Prime, Zara learned to navigate the collective consciousness. As her mind settled into its new state of being, Zara marveled at the sheer scope of awareness now available to her. She could feel the pulse of the planet beneath her, the intricate dance of subatomic particles, even the faint echoes of distant stars. But there was no time to fully explore these new sensations. The void swarm was approaching, and they had work to do. With Zara's consciousness fully integrated, the Cinch crystal beings began the monumental task of aligning every particle on their world into a single quantum state. Zara felt the process as a building pressure, a harmonization of energies that made her entire being vibrate with potential. As the quantum field expanded, encompassing more and more of the planet, Zara's human perspective proved invaluable. Her ability to think laterally, to make intuitive leaps of logic, helped smooth out fluctuations in the field that the more structured Sync minds might have missed. Finally, After what felt like both an instant and an eternity, the entire planet thrummed with unified quantum energy. Zara could feel it, a perfect synchronization of matter and consciousness, poised on the edge of something truly remarkable. "It's time," the voice of the Sync Prime resonated through the collective. "The void swarm approaches. We must act now." As one, the unified consciousness of the planet focused its will, projecting the quantum field out into space. Zara felt the strain immediately. It was like trying to push an entire ocean through a pinhole. But slowly, steadily, the field expanded. Through their enhanced perceptions, Zara and the Synch watched as the quantum field raced towards the approaching void swarm. The monstrous entity loomed larger and larger in their awareness, a roiling mass of hunger and destruction that made Zara's human mind recoil in instinctive terror. But they pressed on, pushing through the fear, forcing the quantum field to envelope the cosmic horror. For a moment that seemed to stretch into infinity, nothing happened. The void swarm continued its inexorable approach, seemingly unaffected by their efforts. Then, just as despair began to creep in, Zara felt it. A shift in the fundamental pattern of the swarm. It was subtle at first, a mere whisper of change. But that whisper grew, cascading through the vast entity like an avalanche of transformation. The void swarm's trajectory began to alter. Instead of consuming, it began to coalesce, taking on new forms and patterns. Zara watched in awe as the once destructive force reshaped itself into something beautiful. Where before there had been only entropy and destruction, now there was creation. The void swarm was becoming a cosmic nursery, a crucible for new stars and planets to form. As the immediate threat passed and the strain of maintaining the quantum field eased, Zara felt herself being gently disentangled from the Synch collective. The process of returning to her individual consciousness was disorienting, leaving her gasping and trembling on the crystal-strewn ground. The Sync Prime materialized beside her, its crystalline form pulsing with concern and triumph. "You did it, Zara Chen. Your human perspective was the key to our success. The void swarm has been transformed, and our world is safe." Zara looked up at the sky, where the newly reborn cosmic entity shimmered with potential. "We did it," she corrected, her voice filled with wonder. "Together, human and Synch, organic and crystal, we've changed the very nature of a cosmic force." As the implications of what they had achieved began to sink in, Zara felt a profound sense of both accomplishment and responsibility. They had saved this world, yes, but they had also set in motion changes that would ripple across the galaxy for eons to come. "So," she said, turning to the Sync Prime with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, "what do we do now?" The crystalline being's form shimmered with what Zara now recognized as a smile. "Now, Zara Chen of Earth, we explore. The cosmos has been reshaped by our actions, and there is much to discover. Will you join us on this journey?" Zara looked up at the alien sky, where the transformed void swarm danced with newborn stars. Her heart raced with the possibilities that lay ahead. This was why she had become an explorer, to push the boundaries of knowledge, to forge connections across the vastness of space. With a grin that stretched from ear to ear, Zara nodded. "Absolutely. Let's see what wonders the universe has in store for us next." As human and Synch crystal beings prepared to embark on their cosmic journey, Zara couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of an adventure beyond imagining. The boundaries between species, between organic and inorganic, between creation and destruction, all had been blurred and reshaped. And in that blurring, a new future for the cosmos had been born, Quantum Odyssey. As Zara Chen and her Synch crystal allies prepared to embark on their cosmic journey, the very fabric of reality seemed to shimmer with anticipation. The transformation of the void swarm had sent ripples through the universe, altering the cosmic landscape in ways they were only beginning to understand. "So, where to first?" Zara asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she gazed at the holographic star map floating before them. The Sync Prime's crystalline form pulsed with contemplation. We have detected an anomaly at the edge of what your people call the Andromeda Galaxy. It appears to be a nexus of quantum instability, possibly a result of our actions with the Void Swarm. Zora's scientific mind raced with possibilities. A quantum nexus. The potential for discovery is enormous. We could be looking at new laws of physics. As they prepared for their journey, the Cinch crystal beings unveiled their method of interstellar travel, a ship unlike anything Zara had ever imagined. It wasn't so much a vessel as it was a living, crystalline entity capable of folding space-time around itself. We call it the Quantum Leaper, the Sync Prime explained as Zara marveled at the shimmering, ever-shifting form of the ship. It utilizes the principles of quantum entanglement to move instantly across vast distances. Zara grinned, barely containing her excitement. So we're essentially teleporting across the galaxy. Incredible. As they boarded the Quantum Leaper, Zara felt a familiar tingle. The ship was interfacing directly with her mind, allowing her to perceive their journey in ways her human senses never could. Initiating quantum fold, the Sync Prime announced. The universe seemed to bend around them, colors and sensations. Zara had no words for flooding her perception. For a moment that felt like both an eternity and no time at all, they existed everywhere and nowhere. Then, with a silent flash of energy, they rematerialized at the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy. By Einstein's mustache, Zara breathed, taking in the vista before them. It's beautiful. The quantum nexus pulsed with ethereal energy, a swirling vortex of possibility that defied conventional physics. As they approached, their senses began to pick up something unexpected. "I'm detecting signs of artificial manipulation," one of the Cinch crystal beings reported. "This nexus, it appears to have been engineered." Zora's eyes widened. Engineered? By whom? Are we talking about an advanced alien civilization? Before anyone could respond, a massive structure began to materialize within the quantum vortex. It was a space station of sorts, but like nothing Zora had ever seen or imagined. Its architecture seemed to defy Euclidean geometry, with sections that appeared to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Incredible," Zora murmured, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was seeing. "It's like a Klein bottle made real, but on a cosmic scale." Suddenly, a beam of energy shot out from the station, enveloping the Quantum Leaper. Zora tensed, expecting an attack, but instead felt a gentle tug on her consciousness. "They're initiating contact," the Sync Prime announced, its crystalline form vibrating with anticipation. A voice, or rather a chorus of voices, resonated in their minds. "Welcome, Shapers of the Void. We are the architects of infinity, and we have been waiting for you." Zora exchanged glances with her Cinch crystal companions. "Waiting for us? How could they possibly know about us?" "Your actions have reverberated through the quantum foam of reality," the architects replied, seemingly hearing her thoughts. "The transformation of the Void Swarm was felt across dimensions. You have proven yourselves worthy of the next great leap in cosmic evolution." As the Quantum Leaper docked with the impossible station, Zara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were about to make contact with a civilization so advanced it could manipulate the very fabric of reality. The potential for discovery was immense, as were potential dangers. Stepping onto the station was like entering a dream. Surfaces shifted and flowed, responding to their thoughts and emotions. Gravity seemed optional, with different sections operating under entirely different physical laws. The architects themselves were beings of pure energy, their forms constantly shifting between states of matter and energy Zara had no names for. "We have watched the evolution of countless species across the multiverse," the architects explained as they led Zara and the Cinch crystal beings deeper into the station. "But rarely have we seen a collaboration as promising as yours, the melding of organic intuition, crystalline logic, and quantum manipulation." They arrived at what appeared to be the heart of the station, a swirling vortex of pure possibility, where the laws of physics were more suggestion than rule. We offer you a choice, the architects announced. To take the next step in evolution. To become like us, beings of pure quantum potential, unfettered by the limitations of single-dimensional existence. Zora's mind reeled at the implications. You're offering to transform us? To make us, what? Gods. The architect's energy forms pulsed with what might have been amusement. Gods. Perhaps by some definitions. We are the shepherds of reality, the gardeners of existence. We nurture the cosmic ecosystem, guiding the evolution of consciousness across the multiverse. The Sync Prime's crystalline form shimmered with excitement. This is an incredible opportunity. The ability to shape reality itself, to explore dimensions beyond our comprehension. But Zara hesitated, a very human doubt nagging at her. But at what cost? Would we lose our individuality, our humanity? The architect's voice softened. Change is inevitable, young one, but it need not mean the loss of what makes you unique. Rather, it is an expansion, a broadening of perspective and capability. As Zara contemplated the choice before them, she realized that this moment was the culmination of everything she had experienced since crash landing on the Cinch homeworld. Every challenge, every discovery had led to this point. She turned to her Cinch crystal companions, beings she now considered close friends despite their alien nature. What do you think? Are we ready for this? The Sync Prime pulsed with a mix of emotions Zara had learned to interpret. We have already undergone one transformation, melding our organic and crystalline natures. Perhaps this is simply the next step in our journey. Zara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision on her shoulders. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about the future of two species, human and Cinch, and potentially the fate of the entire cosmos. All right, she said finally, her voice steady with resolve. We accept your offer, but on one condition. We do this together, as a team. Whatever we become, we face it united. The architect's energy forms brightened with approval. A wise choice. Unity in diversity. It is the foundation of cosmic harmony. As Zara and the Cinch crystal beings stepped into the swirling vortex of quantum potential, she felt a moment of fear. But it was overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of wonder and anticipation. The transformation was beyond description, a symphony of sensation and perception that transcended the limits of human language. Zara felt herself expanding, her consciousness merging with the quantum fabric of reality itself. When it was over, Zara found herself, everywhere and everywhen. She could perceive the intricate dance of subatomic particles and the majestic sweep of galactic superclusters with equal clarity. Past, present, and future blurred together in a tapestry of infinite possibility. But she was not lost in this cosmic awareness. She could feel the presence of her Cinch crystal companions, their consciousnesses intertwined with hers in a bond that transcended mere physical reality. Well, Zara thought, her mental voice echoing across dimensions, I guess this gives a whole new meaning to the term universal explorer. The architect's consciousness brushed against theirs, radiating approval and welcome. You have taken your first steps into a larger reality. The multiverse awaits your exploration and stewardship. As Zara and her companions began to experiment with their new abilities, shaping quantum probabilities with mere thoughts, she realized that their adventure was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. They were no longer merely explorers of the cosmos. They had become its caretakers, its gardeners, its shepherds. The responsibility was immense, but so too was the potential for discovery and growth. So, Zora projected to her companions, her thoughts tinged with excitement and a touch of her old human humor. Who's up for a multidimensional road trip? The response was a chorus of enthusiastic agreement that resonated across the quantum foam of reality. Together, they set off to explore the infinite wonders of the multiverse, their journey a testament to the power of curiosity, cooperation, and the indomitable spirit of exploration. As they ventured into the unknown, Zara couldn't help but think that this grand, infinite adventure was what she had been searching for all along. Not just to see new worlds, but to shake them. Not just to meet new civilizations, but to guide them. Not just to push the boundaries of knowledge, but to redefine the very nature of existence itself. The cosmos, in all its infinite majesty, awaited, and Zora Chen, once a lone human explorer, now a being of pure quantum potential, was ready to embrace it all. Echoes of eternity. As Zora Chen and her Cinch crystal companions embraced their new existence as quantum beings, the very fabric of reality seemed to pulse with infinite possibility. Their consciousness, now unfettered by the constraints of linear time and three-dimensional space, danced across the multiverse in a cosmic ballet of exploration and discovery. You know, Zora's thoughts reverberated across the quantum foam, tinged with her characteristic humor. When I signed up for space exploration, I didn't expect to become a multi-dimensional demigod. The Sync Prime's response came as a ripple of amusement through their shared consciousness. Life, it seems, has a way of exceeding our expectations, Zora of Earth. As they traversed the boundaries between universes, Zora and her companions began to grasp the true scope of their new role as cosmic caretakers. They witnessed the birth and death of galaxies, the intricate dance of parallel timelines, and the emergence of life in forms so alien they defied comprehension. But with great power came great responsibility, and they soon discovered that the multiverse was not without its dangers. "I'm detecting a disturbance," one of the Cinch crystal beings announced, their thoughts tinged with concern. A universe in collapse, its fundamental constants unraveling. Zara focused her newfound perceptions on the troubled reality. What she saw chilled her to her quantum core. An entire universe was folding in on itself, its very laws of physics breaking down in a cascading failure that threatened to create a void in the fabric of the multiverse. "We have to do something," Zara declared, her determination echoing across dimensions. "If that universe collapses completely, it could trigger a chain reaction." The architects of infinity, their mentors in this new existence, manifested alongside them. "This is a test, young ones. The multiverse is a delicate balance. Sometimes, destruction is a necessary part of the cosmic cycle." But Zara wasn't ready to accept that. Her human spirit, even in this transcendent form, rebelled against the idea of standing by while an entire reality blinked out of existence. "There has to be another way," she insisted. "We have the power to shape quantum probabilities. Why can't we use that to stabilize this universe?" The Sync Prime's consciousness pulsed with agreement. Zora is right. Our unique blend of human intuition and Cinch crystal logic might offer a solution the architects haven't considered. With the reluctant blessing of the architects, Zara and her companions delve into the collapsing universe. The experience was harrowing, even for beings of their power. Reality itself seemed to writhe around them, fundamental forces fluctuating wildly. "It's like trying to swim through a storm of pure chaos," Zara observed, struggling to maintain her coherence in the maelstrom of unraveling physics. But as they pushed deeper into the heart of the dying universe, Zara began to notice something strange. Amidst the chaos, there were pockets of stability, tiny bubbles where the laws of physics still held sway. "Look," she called out to her companions. "These stable zones, they're not random. There's a pattern here, like the universe is trying to heal itself." The Sync Prime's consciousness flared with sudden understanding. Of course, just as a living organism fights against entropy, this universe is struggling to maintain its existence. We're not here to save it. We're here to assist its natural healing process. With this new perspective, Zara and the Cinch crystal beings began to work in harmony with the universe's own survival instinct. They used their quantum manipulation abilities not to impose order from outside, but to amplify and support the pockets of stability they found. It was painstaking work, requiring a level of finesse and cooperation that pushed even their godlike abilities to the limit. But slowly, steadily, they began to see results. The areas of stability grew larger, merging and reinforcing each other. As they worked, Zora couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of existence itself. Even in the face of total collapse, life and order found a way to persevere. It reminded her of the human spirit, that indomitable will to survive and thrive against all odds. Finally, after what could have been moments or millennia in this timeless state, they felt the shift. The universe's constants stabilized, its fundamental forces falling back into harmony. The collapse had been averted. As they emerged from the once-dying universe, Zara and her companions were met by the awe-struck architects of infinity. In all our realms of existence, the architects communicated that energy forms pulsing with amazement. We have never seen such a feat. You have not only saved a universe, but have shown us a new way of approaching cosmic stewardship. Zara felt a swell of pride, not just for herself, but for the unique partnership she and the cinch crystal beings represented. I guess sometimes it takes a fresh perspective to see new solutions, she mused. The Sync Prime's consciousness brushed against hers, radiating agreement. It is the combination of your human creativity and our crystalline logic that made this possible. We are truly greater than the sum of our parts. As news of their achievement spread across the quantum network of reality, Zora and her companions found themselves besieged by consciousnesses from across the multiverse. Beings of unimaginable power and age sought their counsel, eager to learn from the young upstarts who had rewritten the rules of cosmic maintenance. You know, Zora projected to her companions, a hint of her old human mischief coloring her thoughts. I think we might have just become the multiverse's hottest new consultants. Quantum Fixers Incorporated, at your service. The response was a chorus of amusement that rippled across dimensions. But beneath the levity, there was a sense of profound purpose. They had found their calling in this vast, infinite existence. As they prepared to embark on their next cosmic adventure, Zara took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought her to this point. From a lone human explorer crash-landed on an alien world to a quantum being shaping the very fabric of reality, it was beyond anything she could have imagined. Yet through it all, she had maintained that essential spark of humanity, the curiosity, the compassion, the drive to make a difference. And in doing so, she had not only transformed herself, but had helped to transform the very nature of cosmic stewardship. So, she projected to the assembled consciousnesses of her companions and the architects, where should we head next? I hear there's a lovely little dimension 2 quantum leads to the left that's experimenting with some fascinating new forms of consciousness. As they set off into the infinite expanse of the multiverse, Zara couldn't help but feel a sense of boundless optimism. The cosmos was vast and full of wonders, and they had all of eternity to explore it. In the grand tapestry of existence, there were single threads. But oh, what a pattern they would weave. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. And Zara Chen, once a simple human explorer, now a cosmic caretaker of unimaginable power, was ready to face whatever challenges the multiverse had in store. After all, she mused as they plunged into the quantum foam of reality, that's what it means to be human, to face the unknown with courage, creativity, and an unquenchable thirst for discovery. And so the saga of Zara Chen and her cinch crystal companions continued, echoing across the infinite expanse of the multiverse, a testament to the power of cooperation, the triumph of ingenuity, and the endless possibilities that arise when different species come together in the spirit of exploration and mutual understanding. Their story would be told and retold across countless realities, inspiring beings throughout the cosmos to look to the stars with wonder and to reach out to one another in friendship and unity. For in the end, they had discovered the greatest truth of all, that in the vast, infinite multiverse, it is not power or knowledge that truly matters, but the connections we forge and the positive change we bring to existence itself. And with that profound realization guiding their way, Zara and her companions ventured forth into the unknown, ready to write the next chapter in their cosmic odyssey.